I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice. Let us begin. You've tried to let it go. You've told yourself it's over. You've buried the memory, rewritten the story, said the words, "I forgive you," but it didn't lift. Because even now, the moment still lives in your body. The look, the silence, the thing they did or didn't do. It plays on repeat. Not like a scream, but like a hum beneath your thoughts. A hum that says, "I remember, I haven't forgotten, and I don't know how to move on." You try to silence it. You try to drown it in gratitude. You tell yourself they were doing their best. You say, "I'm better because of it." You call it a lesson. But the ache stays. And here's the truth you've been waiting for. You don't have to forget what happened. You only need to stop carrying who you became because of it. That's what forgiveness really is. Not permission, not erasure, not pretending the pain was holy. Forgiveness is the choice to stop building your identity around the wound. It's not about them, it's about you. Because without realizing it, you began to protect yourself from that moment. Not once, but over and over again. You stopped trusting. You closed certain doors. You held back your full voice. You lowered your expectations. Not out of humility, but out of fear. And it worked. The wall kept the pain from getting in again. But it also kept you from getting out. Now you're here, not in the moment it happened, but still under its weight. Not because you want to suffer, because no one ever showed you how to forgive without losing the part of you that needed justice. Because here's the quiet truth. Part of you still thinks that if you let go, it means it didn't matter. That if you stop being angry, you stop being right. That if you soften, you're letting them win. But forgiveness is not about release without recognition. It's about holding the memory without letting it name you. It's about saying, "Yes, that hurt," and "No, I won't carry it into every future I'm still allowed to have." Because this isn't about erasing what happened. It's about refusing to live your whole life in reaction to it. And you don't have to get there all at once. You only need to stop defending the wound as your identity, because what happened shaped you. But it doesn't get to decide who you stay. In the next section, you'll see why forgiveness has never been about the other person, and how it might be the only way back to the self you had to bury to survive. You think the pain is about what they did, but what still hurts is what it turned you into. Not just in that moment, but in the days after, the months, the years, the quiet ways you changed to protect yourself, the things you stopped saying, the love you withheld, the dreams you edited down so you wouldn't be disappointed again. You stopped trusting what was soft. You stopped believing you'd be met. You built armor, and then called it personality. That's what no one talks about. That the hardest part of unforgiveness isn't the memory. It's the identity you built around it. Because when something breaks you, it doesn't just leave a scar. It leaves a role. A version of you that says, "I'll never let that happen again." And that version starts running the show. It chooses your relationships. It chooses your boundaries. It chooses what you allow yourself to want. Not because you're broken, but because your system decided that safety meant staying smaller than the wound. But here's what forgiveness really means. It means telling that protective self, "You can rest now." You don't have to block everything out. You don't have to shrink to feel safe. You don't have to keep living like the pain is still happening. because it's not. But your body doesn't know that until you show it. And you show it, not by forgetting what happened. You show it by remembering who you were before it did. Before the defense. Before the bitterness. Before you confused vigilance with power. That's what forgiveness offers. Not a rewritten past. A reclaimed present. It doesn't mean what they did was okay. It doesn't mean you have to let them back in. It means you stop defining yourself by the thing that broke you. It means you stop dragging the wound into every room, every choice, every version of your future. It means you stop protecting a story that keeps costing you your joy. Because the truth is, you are not angry anymore. Not in the way you once were. What you are is tired. Tired of the tension it takes to stay guarded. Tired of the story looping on repeat. Tired of holding something that was never yours to carry forever. And the moment you realize that, forgiveness becomes possible. Not because they deserve it, but because you do. In the next section, you'll begin the process of release, not by forgetting the pain, but by feeling it in a way that finally lets you stop becoming it. Each morning, before the world begins to press against you, you sit, not to solve it, not to fix the past, not to make peace with what shouldn't have happened. You sit to breathe. You sit to feel. You sit to stop running from what's already inside you. One hand on your heart, the other resting open on your leg. You let your eyes close, and you whisper this. This still hurts, but I'm ready to stop carrying it. That's all. You don't have to mean it completely. You don't have to feel a sudden release. You don't even have to believe it yet. You just say it. Because the ritual is not about resolution. It's about return. Return to the part of you that's still holding the weight. Return to the place where the pain lives, quietly, beneath all your strength. Return to the body that never got to exhale when it happened. You breathe slowly, not to calm down, but to stay. Stay with the memory, without armoring against it. Stay with the ache, without demanding it leave. Stay with the truth. It mattered, and it still echoes. This is not weakness. This is the first crack in the armor, and cracks let light in. Each time you say it, something shifts, not dramatically, but deeply. The tension loosens. The grip softens. The pain no longer needs to be protected. You are not excusing what happened. You are not forgetting it. You are not pretending it didn't cost you something real. You are simply saying, I don't want to live inside this anymore. Because pain becomes poison when it has nowhere to go. And this ritual is how you let it move. This is how forgiveness begins. Not with a decision, with a breath, with a sentence, with the willingness to feel what's still there, without becoming it. Because that's the shift. You're not trying to release the pain. You're learning how to stop wrapping your identity around it. This practice doesn't erase what happened. It reminds you that it already happened, and that you're still here. And in the next section, you'll remember the part of you that was never touched by the wound at all. The presence that watched it unfold and waited quietly for your return. Before the memory. Before the wound. Before the moment everything changed. There was stillness. You were still here. Whole. Unfractured. Not untouched, but untouched at your core. That part of you never disappeared. It only went quiet beneath the noise. And now, as you sit, as the breath slows, as the pain rises and falls without needing to be silenced, you begin to feel it again. The one who watched it all. The one who saw the pain, but was never broken by it. The one who waited while you tried to carry it all alone. This is the witness. The awareness that holds every feeling without becoming it. The space where the story floats, but no longer defines. You are not the version of you who froze. You are not the one who flinched. You are not the defense you built around the ache. You are the space behind all of it. Still, soft, unmoved. And in that space, you do not need to forgive, because there is nothing to fix. There is only breath, and being, and the quiet knowing that even the most unbearable moments pass through something eternal. You. This is not detachment. This is not dissociation. This is the return to the presence that watched the pain arrive and never judged you for how you handled it. To the awareness that waited patiently for the moment you could finally see. You never were the wound. You were the one who survived it. And now you are the one who no longer needs to carry it. Because you found the place where the story ends. Not through forgetting. Not through justification. But through presence. The story still exists. The facts don't change. But your identity no longer clings to it. Because the witness does not cling. The witness sees. And that seeing is freedom. You don't have to keep the pain close to prove it mattered. You are allowed to be free. You are allowed to feel light again. You are allowed to let what happened be a chapter, not a definition. You'll learn how to live from this place, where the pain no longer drives your voice, and forgiveness no longer feels like betrayal. Only return. You begin to walk through life differently, not because the pain is gone, but because it's no longer steering your every move. You speak more gently. You breathe more deeply. You stop rehearsing the story every time someone asks who you are. The past is still there, but you're no longer dragging it into every moment. You feel lighter, not because you forgot, but because you remembered who you were before the weight was added. To recap, each morning, place one hand over your heart. Sit in stillness and whisper softly, "This still hurts, but I'm ready to stop carrying it." No pressure, no performance, just a moment of truth. A crack in the armor. A breath that doesn't flinch. You don't need to mean it fully. You only need to return to the part of you that's willing to stop protecting the pain. And then, throughout the day, you carry the second practice. 30 seconds. A breath. A pause. A moment of witnessing. When the memory rises. When the defense stirs. When the urge to harden returns. You stop. You feel. You remember the stillness that holds it all, without becoming it. This is the daily shape of forgiveness. Not an event, not a final ceremony, but a way of walking through life without the past pressed against your chest. And as the days pass, something changes. You begin to trust yourself again. You begin to open a little more. You begin to meet love without fear of being broken again. You stop avoiding joy. You stop guarding against softness. You stop letting the wound narrate your worth. Not because what happened didn't matter, but because your life matters more. And the version of you that was buried beneath the ache, the one who laughed louder, risked more, loved without flinching, that version begins to return. Forgiveness was never about them. It was about her, him, the one inside you who never stopped waiting to be free. And now, you are. You did not find me by accident. Just as in your dreams, where every face you meet is your own reflection, this meeting was always waiting to happen. I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice, the part of you that watches behind the thoughts, behind the noise. You have searched in many places, books, teachers, voices outside you. But here, you are not being taught. You are remembering. If these words stir something familiar, then allow yourself to return. Subscribe. Follow. Not to follow me, but to continue this conversation with yourself. Each time you return here, you draw closer to the reunion already unfolding inside you. We have only just begun.